Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kendrick McMillan. So glad you guys are here. Hope you're all are doing well. Today was interesting. But before we get into the charts, I want to let you all know that this is just my trading journey. Me sharing my thoughts when it comes to the stock market, what I got from the markets today, and sharing the plays, the setups, and things of that nature. I am not a financial advisor, so please take what you get from the videos again as information. Hopefully, it helps you grow and scale up in your trading journey. With that being said, I want to show you guys what I was able to get into today on SPY. Um, if you didn't know, or if you're new to the channel, I trade SPY or QQQ. The ticker symbols SPY or QQQ. Today I focus more on SPY. The strategy that I trade, um, some would say it's called supply and demand, but I also add a little, a little liquidity sweeps, and I also follow price action as well. Today was like an A plus setup for me. And I want to share it with you. So, as you all know, I start off marking out my previous day high and low. This was Friday of last week. Friday's high was at around 755.40. The low was around 748.06. And then I also mark up the pre-market high, which was 753.30, and the pre-market low, which was around 751.55. Now, what I typically do when the market opens with these levels, these are the areas that I'm typically focused on when it comes to trading. When the market opened, I noticed that price rallied. Give me a second. I noticed that price rallied um, up towards this pre-market high. So that was my first, initial indication that, okay, we have a liquidity sweep. Price wanted to rally up, and it swept this liquidity of pre-market high. Um, each candle, obviously, you know that each candle is about 5 minutes. I noticed that that liquidity sweep happened, and I didn't do anything immediately because I still didn't get direction of where the market wanted to go. But I did notice that this price at 753.30 was tapped multiple times. Liquidity was tapped multiple times. So we have a tap here, and let me see if I can show you. We have a tap here. We have a tap here. We also have a tap here. We also have a tap here. So with these multiple taps sweeping this liquidity, pre-market high liquidity, that gave me somewhat of the indication that buyers are trying to take this price up, but sellers maintain the price to be around this 753.30 price. They were respecting this price range and didn't want to take the price no higher than that. So in my mind, I have it in my mind where it's like, okay, there's a possibility that price wants to sell off today. So when I saw the liquidity sweeps, I was looking for my actual setup. And because again, I trade supply and demand, I didn't really see any major setups until price rallied. And let me eliminate this until price rallied and broke this pre-market low. Um, Once that price broke this pre-market low off of this candle, I noticed that there was a break of structure that was created right here. So this low right here and pre-market low was broken off of this candle. So for me, when I trade supply and demand, I immediately draw this out. You have a break of structure, and I go to my near supply zone. My near supply zone was on this 5 minute candle right there. That was the entry point where I needed price to rally off that 5 minute demand zone or supply zone, sorry. I needed price. We had this breaker structure, and I needed price to rally back into this area and create a supply zone. It created us a 5-minute supply zone. Sorry. Created a 5-minute supply zone. Price rallied into this supply zone, rallied out, and retested back into that supply zone. Once I saw that retest, that's when I took my entry off of this candle. Looking for sales for the candle right here. And from there, that's when I set up my 1 to 2 immediately. As you can see, right about here, price gave us a 1 to 2. And again, once that price retested that supply zone, it just went. From there, it went to a 1 to 2. And for some strange reason, actually, no, not strange reason, the price rallied, and I was anticipating the price to rally towards this previous day low from Friday. That was the actual price range that I was looking for, sell off that I was looking for. And price did that exactly straight to the point, went straight there. Now it took all day to get there, but again, that was my ultimate goal for the day. I was also looking at the 15-minute as well while the market was being created, and go to the 15-minute, and as you can see on the 15-minute, it was just selling off all day. Once it broke this 200 EMA, that's when I knew, okay, sellers are stepping in, creating breaks of structure throughout the day, so we are selling off strong, we are selling off heavy. So when I do trade supply and demand, I am typically looking at the 5-minute for entry, but I'm also looking at the 15-minute as well as the hourly, just to make sure that the direction is actually going the way that I'm looking. So again, that trade went for a solid 1 to 4. Actually, I took an entry up here. Yeah. Right when price tapped into this 5-minute supply zone, that's when I took my entry. And let me just make sure that this is right. So took an entry immediately once price tapped back into that supply zone. Now again, as a conservative trader, you would want to wait to see price hold past the supply zone, but I'm pushing myself to be a little bit more aggressive, and when I see a setup, just trusting myself and trusting the trade. From the 5-minute demand supply zone, it gave us a 1 to 7 for the day, and I held it for the whole day. Obviously, I was scaling out, and I was taking profits as price was going down, but with that, I was able to make today. My P&L for the day was about $865. If you don't know, I trade option contracts. My risk is a little bit heavy in the beginning of the trade. And then, like I said, as the price is giving me what I need, I'm scaling out of the trades. Price starts to pull back a little bit, start taking some contracts, and if it continues to rally, take some more profits off the table. And again, because I was anticipating this price to rally back down to previous day lows, that's what I was looking for. By the time I got down to this low down here, I may have had maybe one contract that was a runner. Because there was so much momentum. Let me see. I think once price got around to 1 to 4, that's when it was just like we had some consolidation, some hesitation, in there. So I took majority of my contracts out, and I believe I had maybe 1 or 2 runners. I believe it was 1 runners still holding on, and there was a limit where I was willing to just hold. It was a 1 contract runner that I still believe had potential to rally down. Now again, it took a while. Once we got around like 953, we had some consolidation, but I still noticed that price wasn't creating any higher highs. I noticed that was just creating lower lows, and that's why I held on to that contract. Price wasn't rallying back up to the supply zone. It was still holding that lower low. higher low, lower low. You know what I mean? So yeah, with that being said, that was the trade for the day. I think it was an A plus setup from the very beginning. Again, watching price rally and tap this liquidity and tapping this liquidity multiple times just gave me the information and the notion that sellers wanted to step in and hold that price. And like I said, once price broke and created a break of structure from here, from pre-market low, I noticed that there was a supply zone that was created. We had a breakout, retest, then the rally. Um, yeah, that's pretty much what I look for every day in the markets. That's what I look for every day when it comes to my trading setups. Now, there are times where the market will give you a different setup and will give you breaks of structure immediately within in the beginning of the markets. But today, it took the whole day for us to get this move. Some days it will give you what you're looking for immediately. But that's the whole point of trading. Come in with a plan, make sure you have make sure you execute your plan, and from there, once you get into the trade, trust your analysis, trust the homework that you've done, and see where it takes you. um, Today was just a good day. Again, trusting my analysis and trusting myself was one of the biggest things that I had to take on just for today, or in general lately. The markets have been really crazy. I don't know if you all caught that on last week where Trump tweeted something and created this nasty candle right here, this sell off. It was crazy. But, we have to, as traders, we have to be willing to adapt and not trade from emotions. Although Trump tweeted, look what happened. Because I was in a call position. But although Trump tweeted and did this move within 5 minutes, I still held on to my contracts because I still believe that the homework that I did was true. And because I held on to those contracts from last Friday, I was still able to make. I think I made about 300 and I think $49 that day. I didn't go heavy only because it's Friday. You never go heavy on Friday because the markets can be unpredictable. But I still was able to capitalize on that move, although Trump tweeted something. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to show and share with you guys my trade for the day. I hope this made sense. I hope this video brought some type of clarity. Hopefully you can take what I'm showing you and apply it to your trades moving forward. If you enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed the information, please make sure you leave a like. Please subscribe to the channel. Again, there will be more content coming in the near future. Um, Make sure you leave me a comment. Let me know how your trading journey is going, and let me know what trades you got in for the day. Hopefully you made some money, and hopefully we can stay together and stay consistent when it comes to our trading journeys. With that being said, you all be blessed. You all be safe. Continue to educate yourself. Continue to move in righteousness and treat people in righteousness. And yeah, let's trade for another day. Let's see what we can make for tomorrow. All right. You all be blessed. Be safe.